Fantastic is the newest Marvel Comics adaptation delivered by Fox Studios and is now the third attempt to create a franchise out of Marvel's first family. Yes, I know the movie is really called Fantastic Four, but all the marketing said it was Fantastic. It was really stupid, and, you know, I want to make fun of it for that. Like I did with Take 3. But I digress. Anyway, right out of the gate, ever since this movie was first announced, it has had nothing but bad press surrounding it. Fans have been lambasting this film's production, from its controversial casting decisions to its blatant and admitted disregard of the source material, and its need to lean more toward the god-awful ultimate Fantastic Four run that I have never heard anyone talk about in a positive light, mostly because it sucks. But yeah, needless to say, I wasn't looking forward to Fantastic, because not only do I hate the Ultimate series that it was meant to be based on, but nothing from the development of the film was really intriguing me or getting me invested in what was to come. Even the announcement of actors I liked being casted, like Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, Kate Mara, and Jamie Bell, really didn't do much to sway me. I just, all around, thought that this movie was gonna blow. But guys, I mean, wow. After seeing it, now, to my viewers out there, do you remember when I did a list for my top 13 favorite Marvel comic book adaptations? I need you to get that in your mind. You remember that. Good. It's a good thing. Because I also need you to remember how shortly after that, I did a list of the top 13 comic book films worse than Batman and Robin. Well, guys, I seriously wish I had waited to do the latter, because this film would have been in the top fucking 3. Fantastic Four is one of the worst comic book adaptations I have ever seen in my life. Not only that, I'll go a step further. It is the single worst effort to adapt a Marvel comic book. This movie gets everything wrong. The characters are wrong, the story is wrong, the villain is wrong, the tone is wrong. This movie is a million levels of wrong, mainly because I can't even call it a movie. It's a 100-minute trailer for a movie that never happens. It is a shit ton of build-up to nothing. Nothing! The first hour is a giant build-up to the characters getting their powers, then it drags and drags until the last 15 minutes where the villain finally shows up and we get one of the most underwhelming action scenes since the climax of Iron Man 2. If you've seen the trailer for this film, you know everything that happens in it. They get their powers, Doom is the bad guy, they fight Doom, that's it! That's it! Nothing else! This movie is 100 minutes of exposition and lead up to a film that never gets going! Not only is it a boring mess, but what makes it worse is all the smart talk we get scattered throughout the runtime of this thing. What I mean by that is that it will have the characters talk about something that sounds smart, interesting, and at times provocative, and then have it go nowhere. Let me make this perfectly clear. Saying smart things in your movie does not make your movie smart. If you put some philosophical bullshit in the middle of Nicolas Cage's crappy Ghost Rider movie to try and sound brooding and deep, guess what? It would still be Nicolas Cage's crappy Ghost Rider movie. Fantastic, yes, I am gonna keep calling it that, is so pretentious and so far up its own ass, it's tasting its tonsils. It thinks it's being brooding and deep and philosophical when in reality it's a film that has no idea what it's talking about, what it's doing, or what the hell it wants to be. Fantastic is trying so hard to pretend it's the Nolan trilogy that it fails to even be its own film. Now, how are the actors playing the Fantastic Four? They're fine. Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, and Jamie Bell are fine. They are great talents, but they have virtually nothing to work with here. The script fails to make these four interesting characters, and in turn fails to explain how their powers correspond with who they are. Which is a big deal. Guys, even the Corman version did that! The fucking Corman version!
Susan, that's it. You've got a problem with being shy, right? So, you vanish, get it? Johnny, you've always had a quick temper. Now, come on, ever since I've known you, right? You could call it fiery, so what happens?
I catch fire.
Exactly. And me, I've always had this problem. I just stretch myself thin all the time, trying to take care of everybody, trying to do everything at once. Too many things. Ben, you've always relied too much on brute strength when your intelligence would have sufficed.
Yeah, none of that's here. The whole point is that their worst character defects become their greatest strengths. It doesn't show them getting used to their powers or even learning to live with them, because almost immediately after they get them, the film cuts to 1 year later where they have all not only accepted their powers, but are all split up doing different things for the damn military. Oh, I'm sorry, except Reed, who escapes, abandons everybody, even Ben, who is crying for his help. That was the point where I just gave up, because, I'm sorry, as someone who's read the comics, that offends me. Reed Richards would never do that. Scared or not, he would never abandon Sue or Johnny, let alone Ben. Ben's his best friend. He's always there for him. He'd never leave him scared and alone like that. No matter what his reason is, that is completely out of character for him. And I can't even believe I have to say this. Guys, splitting them up for the majority of the time that they have their powers, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, because unless you missed what was hammered in the comics, the cartoons, and all 3 movies that came before this one, they're a family! Hello, they're Marvel's first family! That is the point of the Fantastic Four! That's been their trademark since the damn 60s! The whole point was showing how this family, through each other, learned how to come to grips with their powers, accept them, and learn to work as a team, as a family unit! Hate this movie all you want! It fucking nailed that! God! Okay, I'm cool, I'm fine. Okay. Now let's talk about something else, like the villain who doesn't show up until the last 15 minutes of the movie. Dr. Doom is a joke in this film. More so than he was in any of the 3 movies that came before this one. More so. Now, I like Toby Kebbell. I love Toby Kebbell. He gave one of the best villain performances of last year as Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He is an amazing talent. He is terrible in this movie. And I swear to God, he made Dr. Doom sound like he was one of those goth kids from South Park. Oh, life is pain, man. No, Mr. Storm, I'm not going back with you to your lab. You go back to your lab and make your money. You know, you're just working yourself to an early grave. Damn conformist. Why don't you wake up and realize the government's using you? Oh, no, wait. Will your daughter be there? I trust her. Oh, Sue, yeah. I want to smell her hair again. But I would never hold her hand. That's something a conformist would do. Damn conformist. I'm not even kidding. Like, are you kidding me with this guy? This pretentious Sue Storm stalking hippie douchebag is supposed to be Dr. Doom? Are you high? Did Josh Trank not take his meds before filming this scene? I mean, my God, you thought Julian McMahon was a horrible interpretation of Dr. Doom? I would give that man an Oscar before sitting through this again. He suddenly, with no build-up to it whatsoever, wants to destroy the entire world, even though he spent the first half of the movie being a smug hippie douche about how we were destroying our world already, so yeah, makes absolutely no sense. I mean, right the hell out of nowhere. Believe it or not, guys, this is actually kind of pathetic. The closest any Fantastic Four film has gotten to getting the character of Doom right is the Corman version. The movie with no budgets did a better job with Dr. Doom than this did. Let that sink in a bit. Here's the thing. I'm going to talk about this because it's been a big deal ever since the movie was first announced. I don't care that Johnny Storm is black and that his sister is adopted in this version. Hell, I thought they would be doing that for a purpose. You could have had a great story here about Johnny feeling neglected by his own father, believing that he favors Sue, the adopted daughter, over him. That would have been interesting, and at first, it looks like it's going down that road. Then I realized I was giving this movie far too much credit. They do nothing with this. So, am I mad that Johnny Storm was made black for absolutely no reason? No, not really. Because as far as I'm concerned, he could have been black, white, Colombian, Moroccan, Mohican, Korean, Japanese, Hispanic, or a fucking polka-dotted elephant, and there would still be virtually no character here. The movie would have sucked with or without Michael B. Jordan. At least he's a good actor. And lastly, Tim Blake Nelson. Oh jeez, can this guy catch a break? I mean, first Marvel Studios screws him out of being the leader. Now this series is screwing him out of being the Mole Man. Yeah, originally he was supposed to be Harvey Elder. At the very last minute they changed his name to Harvey Allen so they could just kill him off in the end. Yeah, oh god. Tim, I'm sorry buddy, you deserve better than this. Guys, what else can I say? I am blown away by how boring, tedious, meaningless, hollow, and dumb this movie was. And I'm sorry, but before I pass final judgment, I'm gonna defend the Tim Story films a little, and the Corman version. Because when you get down to it, they might have been cheesy, and they were far from perfect, but I can still recognize them as being Fantastic Four. In fact, if I'm being embarrassingly honest, I kinda like them. I like them better than this crap. At least those movies had some damn heart. Both Tim Story films did play on the family dynamic of what the comics were. The first film had them getting their powers and learning to live with them, using them for the common good and to protect each other. That was fine. The second film was about, yes, it was about something, about choice, and how the choices we make affect the world of the people around us. Yes, these films actually had stories, they had character development, they gave a shit, and best of all, they were fun! Not great, far from perfect, but at least they were fun! That's another staple of Fantastic Four. It's supposed to be a lighthearted, fun adventure comic. It's not this gritty, pseudo-realistic, mopey, dreary-ass garbage. The Corman version isn't good, but I admire the hell out of it for its heart, which is why it wasn't on the list I mentioned earlier. With a budget like that film had, you can't hire the best actors, the best effects team, or really the best anything. And with the little amount they had to work with, it could have been a lot worse. It at least had an excuse for the moments considered to be awful. This had no excuse to be this bad! None at all! You had a wonderful director, wonderful actors, okay, no, you had a shit writer, but my point still stands! By the way, just on a side note here, Simon Kinberg shouldn't be allowed to write movies. It's in the Bible. Look it up. Anyway, all of this is what makes it the worst Marvel effort to me. There was no excuse for it to be so awful. There was no clear vision. They got the tone and characters of the comics completely wrong, and they got the point of the comic completely wrong. They did nothing, not a damn thing right. Even the worst Marvel adaptations left me with something that kept me entertained. Ghost Rider had Peter Fonda being awesome. Elektra had Terrence Stamp being awesome. X-Men The Last Stand had Kelsey Grammer killing it as Beast. Spider-Man 3 had some decently shot action. What did this have? And what makes it so much worse is that it could have been great. It could have been the best Fantastic Four movie to date, and instead wasted a great director and a wonderful cast of actors on a script that didn't know if it was coming or going. And to see all of this potential wasted makes me despise this film that much more. To Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan, and Jamie Bell, I can only say this. I am a fan. This movie did none of your talents any service. You are great actors, and I look forward to seeing what you do in your careers down the line. I'm sorry. I am so damn sorry that this movie did not allow your talents to shine as they should have. You all deserved better. I'm sorry, guys, this movie most certainly gets an F. So glad I got all that off my chest. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm actually gonna go in my closet and cry. Yeah. It was horrible. I'm in a glass case of emotion.